Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle, and today we're going to be talking about how to not turn your interactions with women into job interviews. And I don't care if it's the initial cold approach that you make or the first date that you have. Me personally, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions of the woman that I'm meeting. How do you make sure that it doesn't turn into a job interview where it seems like you're just firing questions at her? And yeah, that's all that's happening is you firing questions, and it feels like an interview to the woman. A lot of guys have this problem. And it boils down to two things, right? What goes on in a typical job interview, right? Normally, they run through a checklist of questions that they have to ask you, and they really don't dive deep into the nuances of what you're saying. They don't expand on what you're saying. They just have a checklist of things that they go through. They don't really build on whatever it is that you're talking about. So this is what it would seem like. This is what would look like a job interview on your first date, right? You'd say like, what do you do for fun? And she's like, well, I like to go to the gym, or I like to go clubbing, I like to go party, whatever it is. And then you're like, that's cool. Where do you go to school? And you just ask a random question like that. She says, well, I go to school here. It's like, oh, that's cool. Do you work? And you just you just don't expand on anything that she's saying, right? That feels like an interview where it's just one thing after another. You're bouncing around from topic to topic without actually, conveying that you're listening to her. When she says something, it's an opportunity for you to build on top of that. So let's say she likes, whatever, swimming or whatever. It's like, oh, really? Like, how long have you been swimming for? You build on top of that. It shows interest and it communicates that you're actually paying attention to what she's saying with the words that are coming out of her mouth. So yeah, it should never be bouncing around from topic to topic. You stay on a topic and you dive deeper. You expand on whatever she says. And you don't have to plan these conversations. Don't plan these conversations at all, because they're completely at random. You don't know what the person is going to say. You're going to throw a question out. They're going to respond, and you're going to build off of whatever they respond with. You're going to expand on that. Who, what, when, where, why. You're going to find out about whatever it is she said. And that communicates like that you're interested, that you actually paying attention to what she's saying. And it's never going to feel like a job interview when you do this. Now, another thing that you can do that will completely eliminate any kind of interview vibes that you give off is touching a woman. Touching a woman, like I did in another video, is really like a superpower. Touching does a million things for you. It communicates, connection. It communicates, it elicits sexual arousal. It elicits, comfort. Oh, this guy's like, I don't have to worry about this guy. This guy's on my side. He's not out to hurt me, right? It's as soon as you cross that touch barrier, that person immediately becomes like, okay, I'm letting him touch me. It means that like, I trust this guy. It immediately builds trust. So yes, touching is a big thing. Touching never happens in a job interview or whenever you're in an interview. The reason why it feels like an interview is because you're being evaluated. They're evaluating your answers. You're being judged with the answers that you give. And when you touch someone, it communicates like, yes, it's okay. Whatever comes out of your mouth is fine. I already accept you, right? And that's what touch does. It immediately puts the barriers down, and they don't have to worry about being judged or evaluating their answers. It kind of puts them at ease and be like, oh, okay, I can relax now. I don't have to feel, this guy digs me. This guy likes me at least somewhat. So I don't have to worry about the answers that I give him. He already accepts me. You've never been in a job interview where, someone touched you. I should hope not, at least not beyond a handshake, right? And that's what it does. It communicates that you already accept this person. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm being evaluated on the answers that I give. So I got to be careful. And of course, if you're sitting at a date, across the table from someone where you can't touch them, it's going to feel like a job interview. It's going to feel like an interview. You just like asking questions and her responding. And yes, you can try to build off of that, but it's still going to feel like a job interview, at least somewhat. Whereas if you right next to the person and you can touch her, it immediately puts down the whole, interview vibes. It gets rid of them completely. So that's the easiest way of getting rid of, oh, does this feel like a job interview? Why are you asking me so many questions? The reason why they're saying like, why are you asking me so many questions is because you haven't, touched them most likely, or you haven't built off, related to whatever they're talking about. You'll never have this happen if you, relate to what they're saying, ask relevant questions to whatever it is they're saying, and you touch them. You will never give off interview vibes. And that's really what we're shooting for. We're not going, like, the date or the cold approach shouldn't be a, job interview. It shouldn't be an interview process, despite you asking a ton of questions. I ask a ton of questions, whether it's in a cold approach or whether it's on a first date. I ask a lot of questions, but because I touch women, the questions that I ask them actually relates to them and what they're talking about. It doesn't feel like a job interview. Anyways, guys, that's the video. If you need help doing this, fast tracking your way to sexual abundance, sexual or dating abundance, relationship abundance, managing relationships so you never have to worry about women dumping, cheating on you, or any of that stuff ever again, I help guys do that. There's coaching links down below. There's even one-off coaching calls if you were interested in that as well. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.